Thank you for tuning in. It is the No1 Podcast. I am your host, Jake, Coach Jake Shannon. Hope you guys are good. End of a long day for me. It is 8:40 p.m. here in Denver. I've been going since 6 a.m. Woke up, hit the gym. I've been digging this thing called Hotworks. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Super awesome. What's up, Augustinian Alexander? Dude, working the night shift. Where do you work? They send you guys some waves out there on Instagram. So yeah, man, long day. 6 a.m. It's 9 p.m. I'll probably be going here for a while. So, as I always say, when you are in business for yourself, you don't work 9 to 5, you work 5 to 9. I am living that right now. I do that all the time. So, we got an announcement on Alexa right now, of course, during the broadcast. It's my mom broadcasting through Alexa. Good night. Good night to everybody in the internet. So, anyway, yeah, today I wanted to talk to you about coaching. What the fuck is coaching, right? Do you know what coaching is? Okay, so anybody with an athletic background has an idea what coaching is, right? You can you can tell me in the comments, whatever you want to do, man. You can hit me in the comments. It's how we communicate on this one. I can't bring you in live yet. I haven't figured that part out, but I would like to do this how I used to do with my radio show, like a live 2-way talk situation. Anyway, what the fuck is coaching? Right? Coaching. The reason I bring this up is I was on a business call with a bunch of other people in the Cardone ecosystem, and there's people new to it, and they're trying to figure it out. And I was on Zoom, and I hit my little raise my hand button. And finally, so Red Forest Chinese Boxing says, coaching asks, is coaching the highest form of teaching? Possibly. Coaching is, I've been a teacher. I've been a coach, all kinds of different things. But let me try to explain it, right? I was in this call and people were having a hard time. And so I think it's important for people to realize when you're a coach, now it is definitely an art. Like there's the science of coaching is different, right? And there is statistics that show the efficacy of coaching, okay? But coaching you're not a therapist, okay? You're not a therapist. You're not there to listen to somebody complain about their mom or how somebody bullied them, or there's plenty of therapists out there. A coach is not a therapist. And a coach is not really a teacher either, okay? A teacher is a teacher. A teacher tells you things or shows you things or explains them and then maybe grades you. A coach is different. And this is why you find coaches in areas where performance are important, okay? Professional coaches, people who make a living with coaching. Coaching is about results, okay? That's it. Coaching is about results. Does that make sense? So if somebody hires an athletic coach, they want some sort of results. Let's say that you are a speed skater. You would hire a coach to improve your time, to make you a better, more winning speed skater. Okay? If you have a wrestling coach, you're hiring them to give you results, to push you. Now, see, this is a little bit different, right? So you could be a teacher and share knowledge and all that kind of stuff. And I've done that. I've done that as in wrestling, just being a wrestling teacher. And I've done that as a science and math teacher at a private school. These are all things I've done in the past. But a coach is concerned with your performance. That's what coaching is. Coaching is about getting results. Now, Red Forest Chinese Boxing says, does a coach always need expertise in the field they coach in? I think it's a good idea. I think it is a good idea. This is one thing that's been driving me a little bit crazy about how trendy coaching has become. And it's great. I think coaching is a very valuable thing. And that's why there's been so much job growth in coaching, and it's being applied in other areas. Now, I do think that as a coach, let's say you're shopping for a coach. You want a coach that gets results. This is my real point about what the fuck is a coach. A coach is somebody who helps you get results in a certain field. Right? So I would argue that if you want to get some sort of success, you want to win a medal, or you want to reach a sales target or hit milestones for your business, I would probably look to a coach who, one, has either done that for themselves, okay, or two, has done that for somebody else. And in fact, I actually think it's more important for them to have done the latter, okay, because I do know a lot of really outstanding athletes. I'm very blessed that way. I have been around some of the greatest athletes on the planet, like Guinness Book of World Record holding athletes, okay? But the problem is that doesn't necessarily translate over to coaching. They may have the knowledge and know what it takes to win or to succeed, but do they have the ability to install that knowledge and that motivation and that accountability in another human being? And that's not always the case. So sometimes you'll see these incredible athletes and they convert over to coaching and they do poorly. Or you'll see a coach like Mike Tyson's coach, Gus D'Amato, was not really a boxer, right? But he was able to get an incredible performance out of Mike Tyson, for example, and his athletes. So, what I look for is, if I'm looking for a coach, for example, I've had coaches. I've been very lucky. I've had some of the best coaches in the world. For example, in wrestling, I sought out the best possible coach I could possibly get. And there's different things too. I think a coach is different than a mentor. Okay. I've had great mentors too. My coach, as most people know, was Billy Robinson, who is just an absolute legend, right? He was hands-on, like nitpicking me, pushing me, making me better than I ever would have been without him, to be honest. Okay. For 7 years, I had this access that very few people on the planet had. And I credit that for a large part of my expertise and my world renown in that niche of catch-as-catch-can grappling, right? I had, in addition to him, I had mentors. Now, a mentor does not quite have the same goal as a coach. A coach is invested in you, right? That's why you hire a coach, because they're actually invested in you. They want you to succeed. They're like, listen, let's go. Let's do this. And they will lay out game plans and they will have strategies and they will hold you accountable and they'll motivate you. It's a whole package. A mentor is different. A mentor, you have to provide the accountability. You have to provide the motivation. And the mentor just provides the knowledge. Okay. So they're not even quite like a teacher. A mentor is just somebody that you have access to and you pick their brains and they help you where they can. Okay. So that for me would be, maybe in wrestling anyways, somebody like Wade Chalice, Guinness World Record holder for the most wins and pins in most wrestling, in all of wrestling, most wins over international champions, most wins over national champions, 5-sport combat sport All-American, Sambo, freestyle, Greco, what else? Judo. Did I say folk style and freestyle? Anyway, 5 of them. Or Carl Gotch, who is definitely a mentor. You guys could go to carlgotch.com and listen to some of my mentoring calls that I had with him. So that was just in wrestling. But in business, I had many, many mentors. My most recent mentor has been Grant Cardone. I had already reached a certain level of success in business after, having a master's in financial math, being an entrepreneur through 3 different global financial crises. I cut my teeth in the .com bubble. I thrived at the end of the Great Recession, global financial crisis, 2008. And then this recent lockdown bullshit. I mean, I've gone exponential after lockdown. So, I already had my own successes and other mentors. And then I was like, man, I'm successful at this level. But I look at somebody like Grant and I'm like, fuck, man, that guy's like at the, he's got $1 billion net worth. I need to probably shut the fuck up and listen to what this guy has to say and pick his brain, right? So mentoring is slightly different. Coaching, again, to reiterate, is about results. Red Forest Chinese Kickboxing says, so is a teacher the technique or the start? Listen, man, I don't know all that fortune cookie kung fu stuff. It's just, and that's not a slight. I just don't know like all that weird philosophical stuff. The teacher is both a technique, is a starting point, is a accountability benchmark, is somebody to light a fire under your ass. A coach is results. So if you want to make it like a simple, pithy saying like that instead of technique or starting point, I'd say a coach is results. Whereas a teacher is just there to transmit information and to test you, right? So Augustinian Alexander says, so would you say being a coach for someone is like having an apprenticeship? Or would you say it's different? I really love that idea of an apprenticeship because that's how I considered what I did with Billy, for example, which is interesting because if you look at the way the apprenticeship systems were in medieval Europe, right? Your typical apprenticeship was 7 years, and that was the amount of time that I was under Billy, right? And so you can look at this in Freemasonry as well, right? They have entered apprentice, and oh gosh, what are all the levels? I'm totally flaking. I should know I'm a Mason. But anyway, entered apprentice is where you start, right? And then you end up as a master Mason. But that's based upon the medieval guild system of apprenticeship. And I think it's fantastic, right? I don't think it's controversial to say that our education system as we have it today, the modern education system, has failed miserably. I mean, really, honestly, is there anybody out there? Please comment if you think I'm wrong. But I think that the modern education system has failed miserably. I mean, we have people graduating after 12 years of school and they still can't read, write, or do arithmetic. The testing shows that, okay? Then they go to college for another couple of years and they still can't function in the real world. You know what I mean? They're living in their parents' basement or whatever. And I don't begrudge these people. It's not per se their fault. It is this education system that is absolutely ridiculous, focused on the wrong things, not really geared for modern living, right? So the thing is I think that, life is interesting because life administers the exam. Well, I'm sorry, life grades the test as it's administering the exam, if that makes any sense. It's like all at the same time. And, like a lot of people always, they would ask Billy, for example, they would say, oh, what's the best exercise for wrestling, or what should I do to be better at wrestling? And he would just be, you should wrestle more. You should be wrestling. That's what makes you better at wrestling. So anything you want to do. So this is the interesting thing, like what does school actually get you good at? Think about this. All school really gets you good at is filling in Scantron sheets, gets you good at taking tests, maybe if you end up, right? It's no good. It's a waste of time. And it's a waste of time for the kids as well. It's just very stressful babysitting. And it's shitty at that. You're keeping the kids from being physically fit. They only get 15 minutes of recess once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and maybe a half hour for lunch. That's not enough for a child. They should be out running around, acting crazy, burning off all that energy, right? And then you make them sit home and do another 3 hours homework. It's just ridiculous. So Augustinian Alexander on Instagram says, you're right. In certain states, there's staying to allow apprenticeships for people going into the law firms as attorneys, I think it's better. Yeah. So, I think pairing you with a master in the trade or in the craft is really probably the most efficient way to learn. Okay. The challenge is that, again, not everybody can be paired with the very best, right? So some people may, depending on who you get paired with or who you apprentice under, I think that is going to be the biggest determinant of the quality of the education you receive in that kind of situation, right? And that's why if you want to apprentice with people who are, or get coached by people who are the very best, you have to realize there's a line. There's a limit on the time. And so the biggest constraint that we have, right, is time. They're not making any more time. We don't know how to do that. I mean, even with land, we could stack people on top of each other in sky rises and figure out how to do that. But time is difficult. And so, when there's a limited supply, say of one person's time, an expert or a great coach, and there's a great demand, the only way you can meet that demand is by changing the price, right? It tells you what the value of that person's coaching is the supply versus the demand. That's how, basic economics, how the charts work, right? If you've ever taken a class. So some coaches can command a lot of money. I know coaches that I think, for example, Grant charges $50,000 or something crazy like that for an hour of his time. And he gets it. He gets it. Okay. Because it's worth it. Because an hour with somebody who is a billionaire, okay, is super valuable if you want to learn how to be a billionaire, for example, right? So sometimes you have to just do whatever it takes to get into the room with these people and figure out, how am I going to do this? Sometimes you have to buy your way in. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you have to be the person serving water or be an intern or an apprentice, and you're not paid. You're getting paid in a more valuable way because you're learning things, right? So I don't want to belabor the point, but I did want to discuss coaching because I think, you're not, if I'm somebody's coach, I'm not your fucking therapist. I'm not interested in your problems. I'm not. I have no interest. I don't really care about your problems. I only care about your problems insofar as they are stopping you from reaching the result that you have hired me to help you with. That's it, right? So I might say, hey, man, this hang up you have, you need to go get some help because that's fucking you up and that's what's stopping you. But I ain't going to do that. That's not my job. I'm not interested in that. I have no interest in doing that. There are other people interested in hearing your problems like that, okay? I'm interested I'm interested in solving problems. So, for example, you have a business. I mean, with wrestling, it's easy, right? Like just get more wins. I mean, it's not easy, but it's simple, right? Well, so in business coaching, it's simple as well. Like what you want more wins in business. And that is measurable as well, right? In dollars, in profitability, in revenue, in market share, in impact, in legacy. Right? So, one of the great things about a business is if you build it right, it'll outlast you. Right? So you can look at some of these insurance companies. They've been around hundreds and hundreds of years, these life insurance companies. That's amazing. That's amazing that this entity, this group of people has been working so well that it's been around for, if you look at like evolution, we're talking like that's shark level. Like sharks have been around since before the dinosaurs, and they've effectively stayed the same because that design fucking works. It fucking works. Given the parameters, the rules of physics on this planet, sharks are vastly superior to most any other animal in terms of evolution as a benchmark, right? So Red Forest Chinese Boxing says 100%. And then my friend back to driving. Thanks for your time. Have a great night. You too. Thank you for joining. I'm always happy to see you join in. So guys, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook Live. I'm on YouTube Live. I think I'm on LinkedIn. I trade back and forth between LinkedIn and Twitter. I'm trying to test to see where I get more traction. The podcast after the broadcast then immediately goes right up to Apple Podcasts and to Spotify Podcasts. It's all under, and let me put up my banner here so you guys can see it. No1 Podcast, No1 Podcast. So, guys, join me. I'm here. I try to be here every day. That's why I'm doing this late, man. I was so fucking slammed. What's up, Luis? What's up, bro? Good to see you. Thanks for popping in, man. Dude, I was so slammed today. It was unbelievable. Like just boom, 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 boom. If I showed you my schedule, let me see if I can. It'll probably fuck with the app. I'm open on my phone. So I've got actually a tablet going for Instagram, a laptop for Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and then my cell phone for all the podcasting platforms like Spotify and stuff. So anyway, I just figured it out. And guys, listen, if you guys want coaching, okay, you can check me out, man. If you're into grappling, I will help you out. And I know other great coaches that are with my organization. They will help you out. In fact, one of them just popped on this call, Luis. We run a program called coachingcatch.com, and you can go check that out. We're going to be out in San Diego. We're going to be in Pinion Hills, all kinds of stuff. But listen, if you're really serious about making money, and, my normal rate, just so you guys know, I'm very transparent about my pricing. If you hire me to be your coach one-on-one, okay, that means I am devoted to your problems, my creativity, my experience. I keep you accountable. I motivate you. If you hire me one-on-one, let's say you do a 12-month contract, it's $1,500 a month, right? Okay. Corporate is $2,000 a month if it's a large corporate deal. That's on a 1-year contract. If you only take me for like say a 3-month contract, it's $2,500 a month for those 3 months. Okay, and if you take me for just 1 month a la carte at a time because you're not sure or whatever, I make you pay. It's $3,500 a month for coaching. It is what it is. It's what I charge and it's what I get, and it's what I've done for years. Okay. But that's for people that can afford that. Okay. For the people that maybe it's a little more difficult, but you still want the coaching, I offer group coaching, and I do like cohorts, like squads of 10, and I'll bring in, and that's $247 a month. Okay. On a 6-month contract. If you do a 3-month contract, it's $347. If you do a month, it's $447. You understand? So I'm incentivizing you to spend time with me because that's where we're going to get the results. So if you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, and even if that's too much for you, okay, you can't commit to 6 months at $247 a month. That's like $1,400 a month or something for the contract. If you can't commit to that, okay, which if you can't commit to that, I'm just going to be real. I've coached people for free. I've done it in every endeavor that I've ever taught something or helped people with, okay, from business to grappling. But I'm going to also tell you something. If they don't pay attention, period. If people aren't invested, they take it for granted. They don't do the homework. They don't do the follow-up. They don't work. That's why something like grad school cost me almost $65,000. Okay. And I don't even use it anymore. I don't do financial engineering anymore. Now I used to, and it was great. It generated an ROI, but I'm going to be honest, like other things I do generate a far better ROI for me, a return on investment. That's what that means. So if you can't even commit to the $247 a month, you can come to my boot camp. It's a 3-day intensive where we talk about sales, marketing, and scaling. Okay. This is, you get me, you get my experience. And I'm teaching all of the Cardone material. I'm one of 66 people on the planet certified by Grant to teach his material as a certified 10X coach, mentor, and speaker. So you could come to 10X Denver Business Bootcamp. Okay, the Denver 10X Business Bootcamp. The website's easy, 10xdenver.co, like Denver, Colorado, Denver, CO, 10xdenver.co. Buy a ticket, man. You can get 3 days with me, okay? 6 hours each day. That's 18 hours with me. You understand? A super good deal. Check it out. We have both executive tickets and VIP tickets. And if you sign up right now, the first 5 people who get an executive ticket, the first 5 people that get a VIP ticket, they get a free month of coaching. The executive get group coaching, and the VIPs get a one-on-one, one full month. So that's a $3,500 value for that ticket, plus 3 days with me, and all the people I bring in. So at the last Denver 10X Denver Business Boot Camp, I had a Carlos Seguero, who is killing it in real estate investing, multi-unit family properties. He's also a millionaire for his other companies as well. I had Michael Unbroken, who won the 10X Business Pitch Off, got 10 grand from Grant at GrowthCon 2 years ago. And he's like a top 40 podcaster in the country in personal development. I had my buddy Joe Connor, Dr. Joe. He's like a PhD in biology with an emphasis in like organic chemistry or some. I mean, the guy's a gigantic big brain guy. Then you had me, and you had my wife, Sandra, who in her own right is a tech CEO for the leading attractions software out there for like amusement parks and whatnot. And people came from San Francisco, Austin. If you go to 10xdenver.co, you can go. There's a video that has the experiences of the people that came. Really check it out. I think it's, if you want to make more money and you want to learn this stuff in that weekend, it's more valuable than an MBA at a fraction of the price. So you talk about return on investment, definitely want to check it out. But otherwise, if you don't want to do that and you want actually my one-on-one attention, you could simply just go to no1coaching.com or thales.coaching.com. Either one will work. And I will help you. I've got a client that I started working with in just a couple months. I make the guarantee that we will increase your sales and revenues within the 3 months, 30 to 50%. I guarantee that. Okay. I guarantee it. If we don't do it, then just say, hey, we're done. This is done, and you're out. Okay. But in that same 3-month period, this last client that I've been working with doubled. That's 100% increase, doubled their sales in 3 months. Okay. So these are very important concepts, but I'm going to show you how to make more money, how to actually become financially free, to be able to live the life you want, to be able to make your passion into your profession. Then working like I do from 5 to 9 is not that hard. I mean, I'm dog tired right now. I am dog tired. And I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 6:30 and I have another day like that. I have another day that's probably going to be a 12, 14-hour day. But I do that all the time. Okay? But that's also why I have been so prolific and I have so much stuff as an accomplishment, right? Because I am constantly, but the trick is you have to leverage. You cannot just force yourself or do some bullshit, rah, walk on fire and get all excited nonsense. You actually have to really find your passion and your obsession and then leverage that obsession to drive you to achieve great things. That's what I've done. Okay. That's what I love about Grant. Like even in his hat, it's be obsessed or be average, right? That might be backwards for you guys on Instagram, but be obsessed or be average. That's the premise of that book. I love that idea. Now for me, I also use the language, hey, what's up, Kaiju? Yeah, dude, go learn some catch wrestling, bro. I hope you got my DJJ Fanatics DVD, man. I threw the kitchen sink at all 3 of those. So peace out, man. I hope you have a great night. Thanks for joining me tonight. Anyway, guys, I'm going to cut it short because, like I said, I've been going for so long. I try to do this typically during the daytime, trying to start. I'm having mixed feelings, and I'd love to get some feedback if you guys would tell me. Typically, I've been doing it around 12:30 or 1 o'clock every day during the weekdays, and I get good traction. But the other day I was doing it, and it was at, I think I did it at like 3 o'clock. And I had a really powerful day that day as well in terms of actually having people engage and get on. So I would love to hear from you. What would be the best time when you could actually jump on and start interacting? Oh, hey, Carl just jumped on. My buddy Carl Close. He said, keep changing up the time. I'm just running into you by accident. I mean, dude, that's kind of, to be honest, like I wish I could pick a time. Tomorrow is probably going to be another late night. I'll probably have to jump on tomorrow night. I've got an all-day training. Told you I'm working on this signature talk. I've been talking about it on the podcast for like 3 weeks. This concept of wrestling with greatness and the 5 pillars of greatness that I put together from my findings in 20 years in both the wrestling business and 40 years in wrestling and like 35 years in business and now almost 20 years in coaching. So anyway, tomorrow I have a whole workshop on getting my signature talk dialed in. So I will not be on during the day, but I will be on tomorrow night. And I've got coaching clients tomorrow night as well. So it's going to be a crazy day as usual. And I'll be up at the gym in the infrared saunas. By the way, I love it, dude. HotWorks. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but I'm in those infrared saunas, crank it up to about 130 degrees. And I'm in there doing yoga, rowing machines, aerodyne bikes. Dude, it's unreal. Totally efficient. What I really like about the sauna too. Hey, what's up, Augustinian and Alexander? This is the first time I joined your live stream, but I'll definitely start joining more to listen in. Yeah, I wish I could figure out like a steady schedule so people could plan, but my schedule is crazy. I've just committed to do this every day. So you guys, I don't know. But like it is available on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, LinkedIn, Twitter. So even though I'm going live right now, these are recorded and you can go back and watch some of the other ones. I'm going to be honest, I'm actually not even on my game. I'm a little gassed out today and tired. Normally I'm all crazy and in your face. But yeah. So anyway, long story short, I'll be back tomorrow night. I appreciate you. Hey, Luis, thanks for checking in, bro. I appreciate that. Let me give you a little heart on that. So I will be back tomorrow night and we're going to do Demi Goon says, I bought your Nelson DVD on BJJ Fanatics. Really cool stuff. Dude, I couldn't believe it. Like nobody has ever done a Nelson's for grappling instructional. I was like, okay. I saw everybody in the fucking brothers doing leg locks. And I've been pushing for cradles. I've been pushing for cradles and grappling since 2003. Okay. That's why I hooked up with Wade Chalice, because he's the king, the undisputed king of cradles of all time, probably forever and ever. Okay. And so that's where I learned them from. But like, for example, my buddy Dave Patron, he's taken cradles and really applied it. Well, I hadn't seen anybody doing anything with the Nelson. So I was like, dude, you guys need to start treating Nelsons like you do with leg locks. Everybody's all into leg locks now. And it's like, that's cool. But I mean, Catch Can's been doing leg locks since like the 1870s. So there's a deep well of knowledge to be tapped into. But anyways, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, the Nelsons are really interesting because, I think when you come from a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu marketing, I think that sometimes people's grappling literacy is very, very limited. They don't understand grappling in the wider sense, submission grappling, and especially not looking at some of. Demi Good says I bought Dave's Cradle DVD too. Yeah, Dave's great. He's really innovative in that space. I'm a huge fan of what he's doing. In fact, I was the one who hooked him up with BJJ Fanatics because I believed in what he was doing so much. So I'm real glad you're getting all that stuff, and I hope you're applying it. Yeah, anyway, dude, like Catch Can has been around since the 1870s, okay? And it's been no holds barred That's how it started. Okay. They started restricting things more and more and more until eventually it started being folk style, right? But originally it was no holds barred. And then it's just human nature. Just everybody, as more and more people get involved and something becomes popular, more and more rules get thrown onto things, right? And so we end up with folk style. Jiu-jitsu turned into judo. Like, it's the same kind of thing. But you have to remember, dude, like, since 1870, these techniques have been out there. People have been fucking around and tweaking them and adding things and changing them and keeping them relevant for the current grappling scene, whatever that time period has been since 1870. So when you start expanding your repertoire and beyond just kind of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu marketing, and you start moving into just really grappling literacy and opening up your mind to all this other resources that have been available and in print, man, since, like, again, the 19th century. There's a lot out there. So anyway, I won't belabor the point, but I'm a huge fan of Nelson's. In fact, I really like, obviously the half Nelson is just a killer. You need to be a master of the half Nelson. You can get it from every position. It's so awesome. But dude, the full Nelson is a killer, dude. The full Nelson, you have to be careful. Literally, it's a killer. You can kill people. People have died with the full Nelson, but it's a great, I mean, dude, if somebody turtles up on you, for example, start fucking around with the full Nelson. It's fantastic. Demigoon also says, I bought your Say Uncle book 4 or 5 years ago. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. I love it, dude. I appreciate it. That's why I put this stuff out there, is I hope that it's more valuable to you than the money you spent on it. So that's my aim. And we got Gringo Ryan joined the chat. What's up, brother? Doing my own podcast now. Probably nowhere near the reach you got, but I'm trying. I'm coming for you. Anyway, yeah, Ryan is a great grappler and runs the BJJ Fanatics podcast. So glad to see you. Let me hit you with a wave. What's up, Gringo Ryan? Good to see you, bro. So, all right, guys, I'm about to cut it because, like I said, I have been going since about 6 a.m. and it's almost, it's 9:15 here. So, like I said, when you're a business person, you're living by your wits and, you know, you're your own boss or whatever. You don't work 9 to 5. You work 5 to 9. So, anyway, normally I do this podcast far earlier so you don't see me this tired and gassed out. But anyway, Augustinian Alexander, any books you'd recommend for someone trying to get into grappling? Books? I know mace training is helpful. Books. Okay. Here's the thing. And this is the downside. And this is just part of the challenge of the modern world. If you just are interested in knowledge, okay, just information. I honestly, if I didn't believe in my own shit, I wouldn't put it out. So I got to say, I would probably go to fightinglibrary.com. That is probably 10,000 pages of original books dating back to like the 1870s all the way to some books from the modern era on grappling with a bent towards catch-as-catch-can wrestling, although I have some I have an entire book dedicated to old vintage jiu-jitsu. I have 2 different books that are dedicated to bare knuckle boxing. So it was really my attempt at really teaching grappling literacy. So if you're interested in that, that's where I would start, okay? But I will say this. You're not going to learn wrestling or grappling or fighting for shit from a book, okay? You're going to learn it by getting, and you're not going to, I hate to say this because I love BJJ Fanatics, but you ain't going to learn it by watching a video either. You're going to learn it by going out onto the mat with another human being and fucking around and finding out. That's how you're going to learn. That's the basis of all true learning, is your own experimentation. Anything else is just rote memorization of somebody else's experience, okay? Now, this speaks to coaching and mentorship. The benefit in these kind of situations of a coach is that they can collapse time for you, okay? So this is what I'm talking about results. You could go and try to reinvent the wheel or light bulb from scratch, and that's going to take you a long ass time. Or you could go get somebody who is a coach and will help you with that process, and that will collapse the time. That's probably not the best metaphor, but that's my point. Is that a coach is going to help you get the results and get them fast. That's the whole point of hiring a coach, right? So I think a lot of people, and listen, in that regard, I coach my ass off. I've been coaching for fucking decades now, okay? But I also sell information products, okay? Because I do think they're important. And for somebody, let's say, that is active, let's say that you are on the mats and you are fucking around and finding out, then you get an instructional or something. That's really going to help you a lot. You're going to get ideas. It'll help you be creative. Maybe look at things from a different angle and solve problems in a new way. That can be valuable, but you have to actually be in practice. So if you're a beginning grappler, the very first thing I would do is I would find a gym near you and find a club and try to find the best one that you can afford to join. Okay. Now, you could join a wrestling club. You could join a judo club. You could join a fight gym that does MMA and they teach you kind of everything. There's all kinds of different things you can do. You need to figure out what your goal is. That's the very first thing on any of it. So if I'm working with an athlete, I'm like, what is your goal? Because how can I measure my results if I don't have a goal? This goes for business too. What is your goal? What do you want to achieve? What am I here to help you do? All right. So book-wise, I would probably go to fightinglibrary.com. If you go to scientificwrestling.info, I actually put a whole list of DVDs I recommend from BJJ fanatics. Of course, it's going to be biased from a catch wrestling standpoint. That's where my interest is. But I mean, I'm going to be real. I like it because we have takedowns, we have submissions, and we have great top control. And these are things that translate very well to other sports like MMA and whatnot. So that's kind of where my perspective is. I don't know. I hope that helps. Demigoon says, any thoughts on old school strongman training? I mean, I don't know. I have thoughts on it, but in the context or relevant to what, I'm not sure. The reason I invented the modern fitness mace movement with the mace bell, you go to macebell.com. My buddies over at Wolf Brigade, Greg Walsh, they put out the only mace that I endorse right now, macebell.com. I created that, which falls into the old man strength training because of the influence of Hindu or Indian from India physical culture with the Gada, which was made out of wood and stone. But the modern fitness mace that I developed and innovated is made out of steel, right? So sometimes you hear them called steel mace or the mace bell or whatever. Anyway, the real benefit of that from a grappling perspective, in my opinion, honestly, the reason I made it was for grappling. And I made it for grappling because it works your grip strength in a way that is completely relevant to wrestling. Okay, the amount of torque generated by putting a weight that's 10 kilo, 22.5 pounds or whatever, on the end of a 4.5 foot long lever, the torque generated by that is just crazy. Okay, and as you start ratcheting up to 15 kilos, 20 kilos, 25 kilos, to hold on to that thing, you've got to have a lot of strength. Oh, what's up, John Fabs? Dude, my homeboy just popped in. Give him a wave. So, that is so crucial for your grip strength. You hear of wrestlers like Danny Hodge who were just feared for their grip strength. Why? Because the second I grab your wrist, I could actually break your wrist if I could generate enough pressure. Have you ever grabbed somebody's hand or their wrist and you have enough grip strength? You can hear it start popping. I have. And people all of a sudden aren't thinking about their game plan that they wanted to execute or, their sweep single or whatever. They're thinking, holy fuck, this guy just about broke my wrist just holding on. I need to do, and wrestling's mental. Everything's mental. Everything is mental. Everything is mental. It's a mental game. So, anyway, for me, I'm not interested in being a fucking strongman. I never have been. I don't really care about it. Some people love it. People, Bud Jeffries and all these people, rest in peace. All these people really love that shit. And that's cool, man. I love it. I love it because they buy mace belts, man. Please keep buying them. But I don't really give a shit. It's not, just because I don't like it doesn't fucking say anything. It's just my opinion. I'm not interested in it. For me, everything I've ever done physically has been about as a means to an end to being a better grappler since 1994. Okay? So I don't know if that helps you, but I hope it does. Augustinian Alexander says, I appreciate all the info you've given. You, Paul, and the Mace Doctor definitely got me into more old-time strongman workouts that help with martial arts and everything. Yeah, so, if you go and you see my old Mace Bell strength training video it's the first instructional I ever put out on how to use a steel mace or a gana or a mace bell or whatever. If you go get that, I spent quite a bit of time, not only in terms of designing the mace, which, again, God love you guys. There's so many people who've knocked it off and made lots of money copying the idea. And I have no problem with that. That's why I don't chase anybody for legal reasons, and I've never even complained about it. I don't really care. I'm actually stoked because without you guys, it wouldn't have gotten as big as it is. So people like On It and whatnot. I am thrilled that you guys made it. But I'm going to be honest here. It ain't bragging if you're telling the truth. That original design I made is still the best design of any mace out there on the market, in my opinion. It had, from day one, the first one that came out, it was the proper length. First of all, you rarely find that anymore. Second of all, it had crinkle coat grip. You don't see that on any of these cheap ones made out in China. And that's fine, And the head is coated in polyurethane. So it doesn't scuff up your floor or fuck anything up. It's a safety feature. Nobody has, to this day, made a better mace than what I made, the one that launched them all, in my opinion. And unfortunately, the manufacturer just quit the business. They went into a whole different business, and that's why I stopped making it. I'd love to find somebody who had that same ability to make that high quality of a mace, because I think now that everybody's kind of jumped on the bandwagon, there's a market for it, right? But anyway, yeah, for me, the whole purpose of the mace was for grappling. That's the whole point of it. To work the shoulders, to loosen up the shoulders. I've got very fucked up, bad shoulders, and it really moves my shoulders through the range of motion fantastically. I've got this awful condition known as calcific tendonitis. That's why my traps are completely fucking jacked. I actually have like gigantic, like people try to massage me. Like I go to a masseuse probably twice a week if I can. And every time I get a new one, they're always freaked out. Like, holy shit, I've never felt anything like that. It's because I've got these rocks in my muscles from this calcific tendonitis condition that I've got. Anyway, it helps move me through the range of motion, breaks up a lot of that. And then it is just insane for your grip. If you really get it to where you can swing, like, let's say you set yourself a goal of being able to swing a 10-kilo mace 100 times, you're going to have a formidable grip, okay? You'll have a formidable grip. There's people I know who can do way more than that. That was kind of the standard I set for myself. Typically, when I do a workout, I aim for 100 nonstop 10-kilo mace swings, right? But I also do that. With squats and whatnot. Like last week, in fact, this week we're doing the second week of our 8-week training camp in Westminster with Catch as Catch Can, and I ran the new guys through my workout. And my workout, I gave them 1/5 of what I did. They had to do 100 squats, right? When I was working out, and when Carl put me through the paces, it was 500 squats. Okay, and these guys, I can guarantee you, they did 100 squats, body squats, not weighted, body squats. I guarantee you they were having a hard time going up and down the stairs or getting off the toilet when they were taking a shit afterwards because their legs hurt so much. So anyway, you've got to hold yourself to high standards. And this is the important thing about having a coach is They won't bullshit you either. That's why they're not your therapist. They're not your friend. They're there to help you get the results that you signed up for, right? So if you get with a coach, don't waste their fucking time. Don't go in and be like, think it's a magic pill or anything like that. Demigoon says, is Josh Barnett the GOAT in the catch community like Roger Gracie is in BJJ? Oh, for sure. I mean, I would maybe argue, now Josh is a very close friend and he's been very good to me, and I have Josh's back no matter what, man. That guy's a fan. He, in addition to being like an ubermensch, like a superhuman person, like truly, like genetically, and being like top heavyweight in MMA for years and years, I would put him at GOAT status, although I have to personally give an edge to Sakuraba. I have to give Sakuraba that edge as being in catch, the modern GOAT. Although Josh is like, it would be debatable. You know what I mean? It'd be debatable. If both Josh and Sakuraba are sitting there next to me and I had to make a decision, I don't know. It's hard. That's a hard one. But it's one of those two guys. Because, Josh has had some insane fights as well and really done incredibly. Both of those guys. I give the slight edge maybe to Sakuraba, and I do that because he was the one that inspired me. I started Scientific Wrestling in 2003, but I was first inspired by him in about the year 2000. Blown away. And I started trying to study everything I could to figure out what the hell he was doing. And that's what led me to eventually start Scientific Wrestling in 2003. So I don't know if that helps. Carl is back. He says, I would think something like Rogue Fitness would be interested in your mace design. Well, so my pal, the one that I endorse, which is you can go, if you check out, actually I'll put it up on the screen for you. Check out macebell.com. That'll take you to the Wolf Brigade mace. Now the Wolf Brigade mace is actually being manufactured now by Sorinex, which is a huge company. So I don't know, Carl, if you've got an in over at Rogue, let them know that I am looking for a manufacturer. I do have very specific designs as the progenitor and the creator of this whole crazy thing. I would like to see certain things. I do have certain standards that I think are important and that I think are the reason for such a large, robust community that has grown around the mace, a gigantic market. So yeah, anybody out there that knows somebody that's willing to work with me so I can get it made the way that I believe is right, which is going to be similar to the original, although I have come up with some improvements that I think I've only shared with 2 people so far. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what comes of it all. Guys, it's creeping up on an hour. I am gassed out. I really appreciate all you guys chiming in and popping in on the live feed. Like I say, I do this every day. If you're interested in going and seeing the old podcasts, you can go to no1.ninja. So number 1, but NO1, numeral 1.ninja. And that'll take you back to the archives, has all that. Plus has a bunch of old shows I did when I was hosting my mental self-defense radio show, like interviews with Jesse Ventura, the bassist from Nirvana, some other cool old shows that I did. You can check those out at no1.ninja. Demigoon asks, do I watch Abu Dhabi Combat Championships? I'm going to be honest, I don't. I've been around it. I don't even really watch MMA anymore, unless it's somebody that I coached or a friend of a friend that's going to be on the show. And that happens frequently. So I do watch from time to time. But, man, I've been really involved in the scene since 1994. And I just don't watch it, to be honest, anymore. It's very frustrating, to be honest, because I still don't feel the grappling literacy is out there. I don't think it's up to par. I think people, it drives me nuts. For years, I'm like, why are you passing guard? Why wouldn't you just take a leg lock? For years, I'm like, why wouldn't you just cradle this guy? And I can't, it's just too frustrating. I'm just going to be real. For me personally, the value isn't there for me. If it is a good athlete or an athlete that I know or something, then I definitely will. What's up, Dominic, dude? My airplane pal. Good to see you, homeboy. And what's up, Renee? Man, how come all you guys join in just right when I'm about to drop off? Don't you know I'm exhausted? Mike, I've been complaining to everybody that I've been up since 6 o'clock and I'm still here working at almost 10 o'clock. But I am very happy to see you guys. I appreciate you stopping in. I really do. I normally do these during the day. But my schedule is so fucked. Like when I had a radio show, dude, it was 1 o'clock, boom, every day. Because there was a radio station. I had to be there. It was a time slot. There's other hosts. But on my podcast, I could just kind of do what I want to do. And they're all archived. And you can go watch any of them at any time. Again, that's No1, like no, and then the number one, like NO and then .ninja. I need to get a sign. I got all this 10X shit. I'm going to start getting number one branded pretty soon. Guys, I appreciate you. I really got to go. Find me tomorrow. I'm so booked tomorrow as well that I'm certain that I'm going to be doing this show at night tomorrow night as well. So I guess we could call this number one podcast after dark or something. Whatever. Anyway, I'm exhausted. I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Yeah, peace out. Good to see you, Dominic. Thanks for stopping by, homie. I appreciate it. See you guys. I'll talk to you soon.